No. That won't do. Baldrick, did you just interrupt my intro? Yeah. Huh. And I take it you have a very good explanation why you did that? Well, sure. Well, alright. Well, you can't throw in your own intro when you're not on your own channel. Not on my own channel? Exactly. We're on the channel of Nosensefornonsense. He asked us to do a video because he's really occupied at the moment. So let me get this straight. Just because he's occupied somewhere jacking off and is still figuring out whether to use his left or his right hand, I have to make videos for his channel, huh? Well, just one. Other YouTubers did it as well. Crash Bang Adam, Patches Metal, and Jacqueline Glenn. Hi Jacqueline. You know. Huh. Oh, alright. I don't even know how to start at someone else's channel. Allow me. Hello and welcome to another smashing episode of Nosensefornonsense / Infidelamsterdam. Today we're going to talk about who are the super bands these days. That's it? Well, then you do this. Hey, what's up? So if you're watching this channel regularly, Nosensefornonsense or Sebastian, and you have no clue who I am, well, let me introduce myself. I'm Ed, or as on YouTube, Infidelamsterdam. I'm a metal vlogger, promoter, reviewer. Most of my videos are actually about metal, or they are metal related. As my sidekick Baldrick, who you met in the intro, said, Sebastian is occupied at the moment with whatever. I don't really want to guess whatever he's up to. He asked me to make a video. He wanted his favorite YouTubers to make a video for his channel. Jacqueline Glenn did it, Crash Bang Adam, Patches Metal, and he also asked me to make a video for his channel. So I was like, no problem. But since he's really into topics, most of his videos are about a subject. He just reads it on the internet, he hears about it, and he gives his opinion about it, his view about it. And I really like his channel, and that is why I agreed to make this video, because I'm subscribed to Nosensefornonsense, to Sebastian. I think he's a really cool guy. He also made an intro for one of my videos, which I'm going to use in a while. And I thought, you know what, we'll just keep this up, because all the other guys who did the video also did a topic. So we discussed a few topics. I gave him some ideas and he gave me a couple of ideas. He came up with this idea and I thought it was a good one actually. So let's jump into it. What are the super bands these days? You know, we all know these bands. Metallica, Iron Maiden, U2, the Rolling Stones, Queen, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and a lot of other bands that have reached this super status. You know, their songs are being played on the radio still, even when some of those bands are, well, died out, or they are dying out. I mean, when's the last time we heard something good coming from the Rolling Stones? And they have this super status. They made music-changing albums, epic songs, songs that everybody knows. I mean, if you put on Painted Black from the Rolling Stones, even people who don't like rock still like that song. They even know the song. They know the bands, and that's because these bands have been going on for decades, 10, 20s, 30s of years. And these days, and that's the point of this video, there's no band that reaches that status. We still cling on to those bands to bring out something new. I mean, Black Sabbath brought out a new album recently, which is called 13, if I'm not mistaken. I heard some songs, pretty good album if you ask me. But still, you would expect a new band to add to that group of epic bands, bands that everybody knows, and that's not happening. There's still this group of bands and nothing is added since the last 15 years, if you ask me. One group, and I've been searching around for a name for a group that has a potential to become one of those super bands, in my opinion, and this may sound strange for a metalhead that likes death metal and all sorts of metal, is Volbeat. In my opinion, Volbeat has a very unique sound. If you put a song on, you hear him singing, you hear the songs, you can automatically tell it's Volbeat. Still, they made 4 albums, 5 albums, I'm not really sure, at least 4 albums. Still, they don't have that status. What causes that? What keeps those bands from reaching a super status? Why do we still watch the bands like Metallica and Queen and U2 as our superheroes, and the rest of the bands are like, okay, you're good, you can bring out albums, but you will never reach that status? Why is that? I think it has a couple of reasons. Sebastian came up with the downloading that a lot of people do these days. He told me that it's easier to rent someone with a laptop, a DJ with a couple of records, than a 5-6 people group, which is fair up to a certain point. However, I once read what a DJ makes on one night. Let's take DJ Chesto. Well, let's say he makes your and my year salary within a couple of hours. You know, he's very expensive, he's just one guy, a DJ with some electronical stuff. I do think that a lot of people these days have a shit taste in music. And I'm not going to tell you guys what is music and what's not. I'm not going to be the judge about that. I mean, some people think that hitting the shit out of a steel bin with a baseball bat is music, and some people need an entire band. Music is an opinion, not a fact, and it's personal. But if you take a look at the mainstream pop chart or hit charts these days, and you compare it with the hit chart, let's just call it the hit charts, from years back when Queen and Metallica and Guns N' Roses and Black Sabbath and a lot of other bands, U2, were making songs that appeared in those hit charts, and you compare it with in my opinion, the crap that is in the hit charts these days, you can really tell that the people that listen to mainstream music have a shit taste in music. They like the easy tunes, the easy music, the one guy that presented, just like Justin Bieber. I mean, Justin Bieber is not an artist, let's be honest. He's not an artist, he just sings, and the rest is being taken care of by a bunch of people around him. I'll bet you that 99% of the people who are in the hit charts right now will not be in there within the next 10 years. You're not going to tell me that the 2 guys from Blood on the Dance Floor will be doing the same shit within the next 10 years. Impossible. And that's fine. It's fine if you like it. It's fine if you like Blood on the Dance Floor. I mean, hey, if you enjoy Justin Bieber, go listen to his stuff. No, I'm not judging that. I'm just thinking that if you like that shit, you have a shit taste of music. People don't appreciate the music these days as they did back then. If you do, you demand quality. You demand something from your artist like, hey, this is just shit, we know you did not produce this yourself. We know you're just singing this. We know you didn't write this yourself. You demand quality. That is probably the whole problem around Morbid Angel with their last album. But if you're really dedicated to your music, if you really like the artists, you demand quality. And back then people did, and that is why people wanted to change the world with their music. They wanted to change the music. Even the artists were more passionate than the artists these days. I mean, guys such as Justin Bieber and a Nicki Minaj and whatever, all that music is based on a short period of time. They make sure that people are falling in love for it, or they fall for it. Easy tunes, it's like an earworm, and people are being kind of hypnotized by this music. They think they like it, and within the next 10 years you're going to be ashamed that you were listening to that. Trust me. but it's all based on a short period of time. There's no artist these days that just pops out there and you think to yourself like, this guy or this band has the potential to be there within the next 20 years. In my opinion, Volbeat does have that potential, but just because the mainstream is focused on a short period of time, Volbeat will never make it. You know, they already made 4 albums, and for the mainstream music that these days, that's already too much. You know, then you're already old news. People want new stuff within the next few months, within the next year. People just don't appreciate music. Now, of course, I understand it's also not easy to be renewing, to come up with something new, with a new sound, with something unique, but that is why I like Volbeat. They do have a unique sound. If you listen to one of their songs, you go like, that's Volbeat. That is why I think they have the potential, but they are being held back by all the mainstream crap. People like crap, they don't like really good quality music, and that is the problem. Of course, bands such as Metallica, Led Zeppelin, U2, Queen, they all had their own distinctive, unique sound, which made sure that they got noticed, they got out there, and back then people appreciated it, and they came up with something new. They made some epic songs which will be played within the next 20-30 years, if not longer. People that are dead now, you know, their songs are still being played. I've been recently listening to a bunch of 60s and 70s songs, to some songs of the Mamas and the Papas and that you know, that hippie period. Those songs are still being played because it was good quality music. These people wrote their own stuff, and they made sure people could enjoy it, people could connect with it. It wasn't easy listening or easy tunes. There was something in there, just like the song California Dreaming. It's not being used even in trance and whatever kind of music these days because it was shitty. You know, it was a really catchy tune, good music, and that is why it's still being used with little parts of it, little samples in newer music. So, of course, it's really hard, but a lot of new bands try to come up with something unique, and I really like it, and some people really don't, and I don't understand that actually, that some newer bands try to grab back to an old kind of sound, to an old kind of music that's no longer around. I recently was on a festival and I wore a rubber bracelet from Ghost. You know, it had the name on it and the cross with the G in it from Ghost. I bought it at their concert. And there was one person that said like, you like Ghost, you might as well listen to the Blue Oyster Cult. I was like, no, I like Ghost. Yeah, but it's actually kind of the same. Even if that's true, you know, a lot of people compare it with King Diamond and Merciful Fate and the Blue Oyster Cult. And I was like, okay, how many of those bands do still exist, are still around, still make music, and now there's a new band, Ghost, which made 2 albums, in my opinion, superb. I went from somebody who was like, to a really big fan of Ghost. I just love them. I got 2 albums on CD and 2 vinyls of them. But if people go to a death metal festival, there's nobody around there that complains that it's all death metal. Why are you going to that band? Because they sound exactly the same like that band, which in a lot of cases is true. Just like White Wizard, which is a really good band, which has a little bit of a power, new wave of British heavy metal sound. And a lot of people compare it with Iron Maiden. I recently saw a new song of them, and there was a comment that said like, Iron Maiden much. I was like, you know, a lot of people complain that Iron Maiden does not make the same music anymore as they did. I still like Iron Maiden, I still like their new music. Of course it's not the same as their old stuff, because, you know, these guys get older, and like I said, it's hard to come up with something new. But, excuse me, White Wizard is a really good band with a couple of really good albums. I got a couple of their albums, and I really appreciate it when a band grabs back to a sound which is no longer around. You know, they want to revive something, and that is why I really appreciate White Wizard, Ghost, a band which I recently promoted, Bad Bones, which sounded like some old school hard rock, which is, you know, which you don't hear a lot anymore. So I really appreciate bands that make quality music, really good stuff, and I really hope that these bands actually don't get into the mainstream, that it stays for us, you know, people who really appreciate music, because I think that if a band gets into the mainstream and gets noticed and gets up there these days, that for some reason they will lose the passion for it. You know, just these bands should not become multi-millionaires. Man, I'm Dutch. I mean, not that I don't want them to become, but in my opinion, when there's a lot of money involved, the money stays and the passion goes. So yeah, just, you know, I think that's the biggest point of why there are no super bands anymore. A lot of people do not appreciate really good music, and it's really hard to come up with something new these days, something unique. Well, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you liked the video. I hope it was complete enough. I might have said some things double. I mean, I'm Dutch and I have to translate everything to English on the spot. All I can say is keep watching to No Sense for Nonsense, to my friend Sebastian. He really deserves it. I really like his videos. And to end in the spirit of No Sense for Nonsense, listeners, till next time, keep it nonsensical.